Tessa Rynwald sat in the back row of the tactical simulation chamber, her human eyes tracking every holographic element that flickered across the star map. Around her, 70 cadets from 12 different species leaned forward with rapt attention as Instructor Velk outlined the Kethrin Siege, a legendary battle studied across 3 galaxies. This was the textbook defensive hold, Velk announced, his 4 manipulator limbs gesturing toward the glowing fortification. General Morith positioned his forces here, here, and here. The siege lasted 14 cycles. Impenetrable strategy. Tessa said nothing. She simply stared at the map, her fingers drumming once against her datapad. The Kethrin forces held because they understood funnel points, Velk continued. They created kill zones that forced the attackers into predictable patterns. This is what victory looks like when strategy is executed perfectly. A cadet named Pyrus raised one crystalline appendage. Instructor, was there truly no weakness in this formation? None that any commander found, Velk replied with confidence. This defense has never been theoretically broken, even in our most advanced simulations. That was when Tessa spoke, her voice quiet but carrying across the silent chamber. It can be broken in 6 moves. Every head turned. Velk's chromatic eyes narrowed. Excuse me, Cadet Rynwald? 6 moves, Tessa repeated, standing slowly. The formation has a critical flaw. May I approach the map? Velk gestured forward, his tone dripping with condescension. By all means. Show us what centuries of military scholars have missed. Tessa walked to the holographic display, her human frame dwarfed by the massive tactical projection. She reached into the light, her fingers moving with surgical precision. First move, you do not attack the fortifications. She highlighted an empty sector. You position artillery here, outside their sensor range, firing at maximum arc. That would accomplish nothing, Velk interrupted. The shells would land in dead zones. Exactly, Tessa said, which forces them to reposition their western flank to investigate. Second move, simultaneous feint at their northern supply line. Not a real attack, just enough signature to register as threat level 4. She manipulated the projection, drawing glowing vectors. Third move, you collapse the eastern funnel by detonating their own minefields remotely. The Kethrin used proximity triggers. Crude. Exploitable. Velk's expression shifted from amusement to attention. Continue. Fourth move, thermal distortion drones in the southern quadrant. They will read as troop movement. Fifth move, actual insertion team drops here, in the one blind spot their overlapping sensors create when the western flank repositions. Tessa's hands moved faster now, the projection reshaping into a completely different battle. Sixth move, the insertion team does not engage. They paint the central command hub for orbital strike. The fortress falls in 47 minutes, not 14 cycles. The chamber was silent. 70 cadets stared at the transformed map. That is, Velk said slowly, not possible. You are suggesting a level of coordination that humans execute regularly. Tessa interrupted. Instructor, with respect, this is how we fought on Earth before we even reached our own moon. We were too weak for direct confrontation, so we learned to think 7 moves ahead while our enemy thought 3. Commander Threx entered the chamber at that moment, his rank insignia glowing. I have been observing from the gallery, he said. Cadet Rynwald, run that simulation at full parameters. Tessa nodded, activating the tactical AI. The hologram erupted into motion, alien forces repositioning exactly as she had predicted. The fortress that had held for 14 cycles in the original battle collapsed in 43 minutes. The entire chamber erupted. Cadets shouted in disbelief. Velk stood frozen, staring at the projection. Threx approached Tessa, his voice resonating with authority. Cadet, your species has been at the academy for only 9 months. How does a first-year student dismantle a battle that has stood as doctrine for 300 years? Tessa met his gaze without flinching. Commander, humans come from a world where everything wants to kill you. The predators, the weather, the bacteria, the plants. We did not evolve to be the strongest. We evolved to be the most adaptable. We learned to see patterns that others miss because missing patterns meant extinction. She gestured to the collapsed fortress. You see an impenetrable defense. I see a system built by species that never had to fight themselves. Humans spent 10,000 years fighting humans. We know every trick, every deception, every psychological exploit. We learned to win wars before the first shot was ever fired. Threx was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke, his voice carrying across the chamber. From this point forward, every tactical doctrine at this academy will be stress-tested against human strategic analysis. Class dismissed. As the cadets filed out in stunned silence, Velk approached Tessa. "I underestimated you," he said simply. "Most do," Tessa replied. "But that is their mistake, not mine." She walked toward the exit, leaving the shattered remains of 3 centuries of military doctrine glowing behind her. The Deathworld girl had spoken. The galaxy was listening. Please like and subscribe the channel for more videos.